Tidders, welcome in, and congratulations on being officially the fastest thing alive, claiming first in the chat for this stream. Please excuse me if I sound absolutely horrendous. I have been coughing all day. I'm gonna probably have to mute at various points throughout this stream to do exactly that. Just not feeling great today. Had a couple of really rough nights. On the plus side, my ankle's doing better. Yeah, I hope you're doing well today. And I hope it's not as warm where you are as it is where I am. Humidity's been playing havoc with my throat. Oh, bless you. That's rough. Oh, there we go. Need to cough already. Ugh, this is going to be a fun stream. Hi, Porthos. Yes, I'm coughing a lot, aren't I? I'm sorry. It's very noisy. Suppose we'll just shuffle on over here for a second. So that I can do the spiel before the actual gameplay. Today's game is another game which I have been very kindly gifted a key for by the devs. This one is a very interesting one. It's an AI-driven whodunit game. So all of the characters that you will question are AI-driven. And I'm really interested to see how that's going to affect how we play the game and how they react to us. It's a very exciting idea. It's coming out in early access on the 30th of July. And when it comes out, it will be on a 35% off discount as well. So if you do enjoy what you see of this game today, then pop it in your wish list so that you can get notified when it comes out and get that sweet, sweet discount. As always, I may have been asked to play this by the devs, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to lie about whether I enjoy it or not. If I don't enjoy it, I will tell you. If I do enjoy it, then this stream may go on for a little longer than I'm planning. I am planning for this to be a strictly 2-hour long gameplay, so maybe 2.5 hours total stream time, depending on how much faffing goes on. Torpor, welcome on in, and thank you for contributing towards the Romancylvania challenge, which I saw before we started was at 80%, so holy heckers, we're nearly there. Tidders, thank you for contributing towards the Romancylvania challenge. I feel like I shouldn't have bothered extending the timer on that, because you folks have smashed it out of the park and you've got loads of time left because I've kept extending it because of not streaming on certain days. But I think you would have got it anyway. You're all so eager, and I think I know what you're eager for as well. I suspect there's going to be a rather buxom pumpkin lady in my future. Not that I have any problems with that. If that's what you folks decide, that's what you folks decide. End of. No idea what you mean. Of course not. Of course not. But yeah, so that's the spiel out of the way. You know how it is. I'm not going to lie to you. It's too much effort to lie. I'm already using an awful lot of energy fighting off whatever this is, and also repairing my poor squishy ankle. So I don't have the energy to lie to you. And even if I did, I wouldn't, because it's inefficient. I haven't booted the game up. There is a reason for that. You'll see why in a moment. Yeah, I hope you're doing well today as well, Torpor, in case I didn't say that. My head is all over the place. Okay, so I have booted this up exactly once, saw what was happening and went, oh, I have to save this for chat. if it works. There we go.
The second I stepped off the train into the city of Vaudeville, I could feel the weight of its melancholy in the air. Even the drizzle that clung to the city's grimy cobblestones felt a shade darker than your everyday downpour. Vaudeville was a city of high stakes and low morals where vice and virtue danced a wicked waltz. Street lamps, flickering like burnt-out stars, were the only guide through the maze of rain-soaked alleyways and whispering shadows. My name's Martini, detective, troubleshooter, and a lousy sucker for hard luck stories. This wasn't my first circus, but this act was a 3-ring special. 3 murders, no leads, and a city on the brink of bedlam. The victims were as different as chalk and cheese, each a symbol of the city's vibrant veneer. A young dancer who moved like poetry in motion, her life cut short mid-pirouette. The socialite, a woman who knew the city's pulse better than anyone else. And then there was the businessman, the embodiment of Vaudeville's promises of progress, snuffed out like a candle in the wind. The usual peace in Vaudeville was off-kilter, replaced by the discordant notes of fear and suspicion. Strangers viewed each other through wary eyes, neighbors turned to strangers, and every shadow seemed to hold a secret. The once vibrant city had become a stage, the curtain drawn on a grim play of mystery and murder. In a city without harmony, the police chief was the conductor trying to keep the orchestra in tune. Gretzky was his name, a seasoned cop with a granite jaw and a heart that had seen better days. There was a stark tension, a raw fear that danced like St. Elmo's fire in his eyes. Whatever was happening in Vaudeville had Gretzky out of his depth, and that was a sight I'd never thought I'd see. If anyone could make sense of this twisted tale, it would be him. I'd better head to the police station and have a chat with Gretzky for starters.
So I saw the first bit of that intro video and went, okay, no, I need to save this for when folks are here, because this looks really cool. That was a really nice introduction to what we're going to be doing. Now, I have no fucking clue how this game works. All I know is that I can either control it with a mouse and keyboard or with my microphone. I'm going to go for mouse and keyboard because talking to you folks is going to make me cough. So talking to the game is only going to make me worse. But yeah, I'm quite excited to see what we get out of this. Okay, so we need to go to the police station. There's the police station. Hold the right mouse button to look around. Okay, yeah. Oh, we can type and speak into our mouse button. Oh, shit, it's listening to me. I'm just gonna mute that. So that I can talk to you folks without, like, pissing off a cop. Because that's the last thing I need. Oh, he's got an intense stare, doesn't he? Hello, Chief.
Well, what brings you here today, Detective? Got any juicy updates for me?
I hear there has been murder. Or 3.
Murder, you say? How thrilling. Tell me more.
That's
Which one of the recent victims are you referring to?
That's not exactly what I'd expect a police officer to say about a murder in his jurisdiction. How thrilling. You know what? I'm most interested in the dancer. Because, the rich business guy can wait till last.
Yes, Haley Greenwood, I remember. Such a tragedy. What do
Hero Quest is the best game ever made, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
That was weird. Okay, is my chat broken? Because I heard a Hero Quest. But I see nothing. Ah, here we go. Okay, my chat just, like, froze there. Cypher, welcome on in. Like, I heard the hero quest and was like, shit, Cypher's here, but hang on a minute. How did Cypher do hero quest without doing it in chat? That's... Bum bum ba. Welcome on in, I hope you're doing well today. Rearranging my office. Ooh, interesting. Any particular reason, or just felt like a change? With mind bullets. That's telekinesis, Cypher. Oh shit, what did I do there? Let's go back to the police station. I think I hung around too long, so it kicked me back to the... Hi, Chief. Tell me about the dancer.
What do you want to know about the
Cut the crap.
dancer?
Did she have any known enemies?
Interesting question. Why do you ask?
Because someone killed her?
Well, yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she had known enemies.
That's why I'm asking if she did.
Well, I don't want to speak out of turn, but they say where there's smoke, there's fire.
Talking to him now. I'm sorry, Constable Jones. I'm sure you're lovely, but I'm having a conversation with the chief right now. Basic policing, buddy.
Is that so? And how many cases have you solved with your basic policing skills, buddy?
Urge to fight him. Growing. Baleful golden orb in the sky, amongst other things. Yeah, fair play. Rhythm is a dancer. Very good song. Ah, yeah, we've got a copy of Boyfriend Dungeon up for grabs today. You folks know how much I love that game, so if you think you would also love it, then by all means, please do enter. Let's try again. Hello, Chief.
Yes, detective. Did you find something new about the case?
Not yet.
All right, then. So, why did you come to see me today, detective?
Can you tell me where the dancer is?
Detective,
I'm really bad at
afraid you're a
remembering
bit
names.
Confused. The dancer we were talking about was murdered and her body was found in an alley behind the club she worked at. We have her body at the morgue, if that's what you're asking.
Thank you. That is exactly what I am asking.
Sure. Of course, detective. Anything to help solve this case. But just remember, if you want to get anywhere in this investigation, you'll need more than just basic policing skills. This isn't some petty theft case, you know? This is a serious matter, and we need to be thorough.
I have never been accused of being anything but thorough. Chief. Let's not capitalize the H.
Oh, really? Well then, let's see how thorough you can be with this case. Have you found any leads so far?
No, because I'm still talking to you, dingus. Goodbye.
See you soon.
Okay. So I can't leave this room, which means I cannot just walk to the morgue. Constable Jones. Hello, Constable Jones. Can you escort me to the morgue?
Oh, I'm not sure if I can do that. I mean, it's not my place to make that decision. I don't want to step on anyone's toes or rock the boat. You know what they say, better safe than sorry.
Oh, wow. He's a bit milquetoast, isn't he? Hey, Chief. Can you escort me to the morgue?
Why do you need me to escort you to the morgue, detective? Can't you find your way there on your own?
I don't know where it is.
Well, that's a bit surprising. As a detective, you should have at least a basic idea of the locations of important places in the city.
Not in the police station.
Especially those related to your job. Nonetheless, as the police chief of Vaudeville, it's my duty to provide assistance to our detectives.
He's a
Follow
sassy
me,
bugger,
and
isn't
let me
he?
show you the way to the morgue.
Thank you.
Sure. Don't mention it, but let me tell you something, young man.
Oh, here we go. He's gonna lecture me. What the fuck is going on with my chat tonight? Like, it is completely balked. Because I just saw the thing pop up to say that Halo's here. Cannot see Halo in chat. So, seeing as I saw the thing to popping up to say Halo's here. Hi, Halo. Welcome in. I'm sorry I can't read your message because my chat is being weird.
Hello there.
There we go. Okay, I think this game does not like me having OBS open. I have to click out of the game to get my chat to update. So I am very sorry if I miss things. I will try and periodically click out of the game to open chat. I'm guessing with this being like super early access, they'll fix that at some point before the full game comes out. This guy sounds like a robot. That is because Halo, all of the characters in this are AI driven, so I'm basically playing Detective Cleverbot right now. Which is an interesting idea, I've got to admit. And as a means of delivering a mystery game, a whodunit, I think it could work really, really well as long as it's implemented properly. Okay, so... Ah, the morgue isn't actually in the police station. Okay, whoa! You're intense. And you have a fantastic name. Coroner Exterberia. Hello. I believe a young dancer was brought in. May I see the body? I don't know how graphic this is going to be.
Yes, we did perform an abduction on the body of a young dancer. The victim suffered multiple blows to the head with a blunt object, most likely a stiletto shoe. It's a shame that such a young life was taken so cruelly.
That is bleak. Anything? Anything else of interest on the body?
Well, upon further examination, we found fragments of the stiletto heel embedded in the skull.
Oof.
Indicating a significant amount of force was used.
That's
It's a brutal way
brutal.
to go. I can only imagine the pain and suffering the victim went through. It's important that we find the perpetrator and bring them to justice.
Yep, I'm not disagreeing with you, love. Okay. My one complaint so far is that every time I want to say something, I have to click into the box. Like, it doesn't just let me sit in the box and quickly type things. Which is really throwing me off, would you believe? Besides the fatal wound, was there anything else of note? So this is set in the 20s, so I'm not expecting anything like DNA or anything like that. This presents some RP opportunities, I suppose. Very interesting. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think this could be a fantastic RP kind of game. And obviously, like I said, it's in early access at the moment, so it's got a long ways to go yet. And when it releases in July, it'll still be in early access, so the idea is it's going to evolve over time. Hang on a second, folks. As you may have guessed, I'm not going to be RPing it tonight because, frankly, I feel like shit. So I'm just going to be playing it and kind of using a little bit of my background to try and get information out of people. Which is why I'm asking what I'm asking, and why I was saying what I was saying before I needed to cough. So this is set in the 20s, I'm not expecting DNA or anything like that, but literally all they've talked about, all the coroner has talked about so far is the fatal wound. This, okay. If you take too long, it kicks you back to the map instead of just letting you think and type, which I'm also not a big fan of. I don't know if this will work now, or if I'm going to have to go through the conversation again to get back to this point. So, a couple of bugbears with it at the moment. Hopefully, they're things that the devs will rectify. Oh, thank you, Halo. Let's find out. Oh, she thinking. That seems like a no.
Well, there were some
there we
minor
go.
abrasions and contusions on the
There we
body,
go.
but nothing that would have contributed to the cause of death.
It
The
doesn't
wound
have
on
to
the
have
back of the neck
contributed
was
towards the
deep and
cause of
precise,
death.
indicating a skilled hand. It's possible that the killer had some medical knowledge or experience with knives.
And this is what I was afraid of, because we've got 3 murder victims, and I've been kicked back to the map whilst I was thinking about how
my
to phrase
apologies.
something.
That was actually in reference to a different case where
Yeah,
a
there
young
we go.
dancer was found dead in an alleyway. She had been hit several times in the head with a blunt object, which we believe was a stiletto shoe based on the fragments we found on her body. It's a brutal way to go.
Okay, yes, you already told me that. At least we managed to get back there eventually, but she's given me information about a case that I'm not working on, which is really bad practice in this industry. So I'm going to ask my question again. Besides the fatal wound, was there anything unusual on the body? Now, I could be controlling this with a microphone, which would be a lot easier, seeing as I'm reading out what I'm saying as I'm typing it.
No, that was a separate case.
But I don't want
The
to.
victim in this case, Nicola Grossman, was killed by a sharp blow to the back of the neck with a butcher's knife. It severed his spinal cord and caused immediate paralysis and loss of consciousness.
Isn't that the rich
Death
guy
was
that I
very
don't want to
swift
talk
and
about?
painless. It's a shame that such a successful man had to
Okay,
meet
she's
such a violent
yeah.
end.
She's arguing the toss with me about the case I'm on now. Okay, let's try this again. Hello. I believe a young dancer was brought in earlier.
Yes, that's correct. We received the body of a 19-year-old dancer earlier today. She had been hit
She's
several
going
times
to
in the
say
head
the
with a
same
blunt
thing again.
object, likely a stiletto shoe. Judging by the fragments we found on her body, it's a tragic case, and my heart goes out to her family and loved ones.
Tell me more about... it's done it again. Please tell me more about the dancer.
It's always difficult to see someone so young and full of life taken so
Not
suddenly.
quite what I
From
meant.
the injuries on her head, it appears that she was struck multiple times with a blunt object.
Okay,
Likely a
we know
stiletto
that.
shoe, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
We found fragments of what appeared to be a high heel on her scalp, which is consistent with that theory.
Okay.
The force of the blows caused severe trauma to her brain, which would have resulted in immediate loss of consciousness and eventual death.
I've
It's a
got to
tragedy,
admit,
really.
braining someone with a stiletto, the shoe, not a knife, is actually really impressive. They're not... I mean, you could get maybe one good hit in, but not multiple. Jeez, oh. Is it me, or is this also having an effect on my captions? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Is there anything else of note on the dancer's body? There we go. Oh, and it's kicked me back to the menu again. Okay, this is going to get really frustrating. But we're going to have to be super specific. Because at the end of the day, there may be a face on the front of it, but we are talking to a computer here. Besides the fatal wound, was there anything of note on the dancer's body?
Well, there were several contusions and lacerations on her body, indicating that
There
she
we
put up quite a
go.
fight.
Yeah,
Possible
they
that the
really need to
perpetrator was someone
extend the
she
time
knew,
there.
given the nature of the attack. The fragments of a stiletto heel found on the scene suggest that the weapon used was a shoe. It's a brutal way to go.
Was the murder weapon consistent with the victim's shoes? So what I'm asking here is, did they smack her in the head with one of her own shoes?
It's hard to say for sure without further investigation, but the fragments we found on the victim's head were consistent with a high-heeled shoe. The size and shape of the fragments indicate that the killer may have been wearing a pair of stilettos, which could have been the victim's or the killer's.
Okay,
It's a gruesome
they
way
don't
to
know.
go, but we'll do our best to find out who did this.
Yes, we will.
It's difficult to investigate cases like these when we're dealing with such violent acts.
Where was the dancer found?
As a doctor, I'm familiar with the impact that trauma can have on the human body. But it's
I
the
don't care.
dancer's body was found in an alley behind the club she worked at. Based on the injuries and the location of the body,
What was the
I would
name of
guess
the
that she
club?
was attacked
Why
from
will no
behind
one
and then
tell me
dragged
the
to that
name of the
spot.
club?
The blunt force trauma to her head was likely the cause of death, but I'll need to take a closer look to be sure.
What was the name of the club the dancer worked at?
Based on my report, I can tell you that the dancer was found behind a club called Le Chat Noir. It's a popular spot for dancers and performers in Vaudeville. I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
you have to deal with this. Yes,
Right.
it's always a relief.
I'm done with you now. I got what I needed out of you. So, blunt force trauma, which is not something I would have initially expected, considering stiletto shoes are called that because they are so sharp. That's a circus with a person at it. The coroner better cooperate or she'll be needing an autopsy next. Found in an alleyway behind Le Chat Noir. But there is no Le Chat Noir. I have a sneaking suspicion that the game was expecting me to go for the rich guy first, and I have ignored that. Pascal's Groceries. Because there's literally nothing here for... Yeah, I know how to look around. I don't need the reminder. Actually, probably better off asking the cop. Hello, Chief. Where is Le Chat Noir?
Le Chat Noir? What do you mean? Are you referring to the famous cabaret or something else?
The cabaret.
Yeah, I see. Why are you asking about Le Chat Noir? Do you have any information related to our ongoing investigation?
I want to visit the crime scene to look for clues.
Interesting. And what makes you think that you can find clues there? Are you a detective or an investigator?
Wow! He's sassing me! The victim was found in an alley behind that cabaret. It stands to reason there would be evidence or even suspects in the area.
I understand your point. But what exactly are you hoping to find there? And what leads you to believe that there might be suspects in that area?
Well, officer. Murderers often revisit the scenes of their crimes.
That's an interesting theory. But do you have any evidence to support it?
Yeah, a fucking criminology degree,
without
mate.
Proper evidence. And besides, we have already thoroughly searched the crime scene and the surrounding areas.
Uh-huh. I want to sass him so bad. Oh, sorry, folks. Having to explain your own job to him, yeah. Black Hat Cabaret is on Sherwood Street in London. I did not know there was one in London, Torpor. You learn something new every day. Okay, so I'm not allowed to go and investigate the crime scene. Where is the evidence from the cabaret murder scene? Oh, and I've been kicked back to the menu. You're tansplaining to him. I am! He fucking deserves it. How dare he? How very dare. What was the dancer's name again? I'll ask him. I don't think I've got like a notepad or anything that I can refer back to.
Detective Martini, are you testing my memory?
No,
The dancer's
mine.
name was Haley Greenwood.
Haley Greenwood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around and ask about Hayley Greenwood and see if anybody knows her. Because it seems like all we're really allowed to do is interrogate people. Which is a shame. I was kind of hoping that we'd be able to get into the guts of it a little bit more. But maybe that's something that will come in later versions of the game. Who knows? Hello. Do you know a dancer called Hayley Greenwood?
Hayley Greenwood. I'm not sure. Why do you ask?
No reason. Have a nice day. We're gonna be polite to everybody
Bye.
except the cops.
Thank you.
Okay, hello. Do you know a dancer called Hayley Greenwood? No, we don't want an exclamation mark there, we want a question mark.
Oh, hi there. Yes, I did know Hayley. She was a friend
Did?
of mine. My name is actually Ingrid, though. How can I help you?
Why did you say you did know Hayley rather than you do know her? Caught in a
I'm
trap
sorry,
already.
I misspoke. I meant to say that I do know her.
Really?
Hayley was a close friend of mine. We met through dance classes at the academy and became fast friends. It was devastating to hear about what happened to her.
Who told you? What happened to her?
I heard about it from the news, just like everyone else. It was all over the papers and social media. But it hit me especially
what?
hard because she was my friend. We used to talk about our dreams and aspirations.
How long has she
all
been
the time.
dead?
She was such a talented dancer, and it's just not fair that her life was cut short like that.
This seems sus. Do you know if she had any enemies?
No one told me exactly what happened to her, but like I said, the media was all over it. It was really shocking to hear that someone as young and full of life as Hayley had been taken so suddenly. It's really shaken up the entire community here.
I'm sorry to hear that, but you didn't answer my question.
Forgive me, you're right. No one in particular told me what happened to Hayley.
Oh,
It
he's still
was
not
covered
answering it.
all over the news and social media. But if there's anything at all
It's at the
that you want to
Piccadilly edge of
discuss with me,
Soho. Oh,
or any
cool.
questions you have,
News travels fast in vaudeville,
please feel free
apparently.
to ask.
Did Hayley ever tell you about anyone causing trouble for her?
Well, that's all right. Sometimes, when we're talking about something difficult or painful, we can get a little sidetracked. But it's nice to meet you, Detective Martini. You
What?
seem like a really interesting person. What brings you to Vaudeville?
Your friend's murder. Please answer my questions.
Of course, Detective Martini. Please excuse my distraction. To answer your question, as far as the details of Hayley's murder, unfortunately. I don't have much information beyond what's been reported in the media.
Okay.
It's been a really
So it's
difficult
not
time for
letting
all
me
of us
ask
who
the
knew her,
questions I
and
want
we're
to
all just trying
ask.
to cope with the loss. But if there's anything at all that you think might be helpful,
What was
or
Haley
if there's
like?
anything that you need from me, just let me know.
I have done! You're not giving me what I need.
Haley was amazing. She was one of the most talented dancers that I've ever met, and she had a real passion for her craft. But beyond
A little
that,
bit,
she was
Halo,
just a
yeah.
really kind and genuine person. She had a way of making everyone feel welcome and included, and she always had a smile on her face. She was the kind of friend who would drop everything to help you out if you needed it. And she was always up for trying new things and exploring the world around her. She was just really special.
Okay. So we've got a really special dancer that's been murdered. I'm liking the music in the background.
That's a great question. Let me think. If memory serves, Haley had been dancing since she was a little girl. She started taking ballet classes when she was just 3 years old, and she fell in love with it right away. She
Okay.
was always so dedicated to her craft, and she put in countless hours of practice and training to become the incredible dancer that she was. It's really no surprise to me that she was able to accomplish so much in such a short amount of time.
Wow. She really likes her, huh? I was betting she did it. When is this game set? Because I'm sure she's mentioned social media. This is supposed to be set in the 1920s? Or in a 1920s world, at the very least. But I'm guessing, especially considering her outfit, it's more like a... Hang on a sec. It's more like an alternate 1920s. Sorry about that. Really needed to cough. Because that is not a very 1920s looking outfit. Okay. Shit, I knew that was going to happen. I wasn't fast enough. Hi. I have to say hello to them, otherwise they don't talk to me properly. Outfit's very 1960s. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of anachronisms in this, and I don't know whether it's that the game is set in an alternate timeline, as it were, where some things progressed and others didn't, or... Who knows? I mean, the devs know, obviously. Hi. Did Haley have a lover? Asking the real questions here.
Sorry, my name is actually Ingrid, not Haley.
I know.
To answer your question, I'm not sure if Haley had a lover. She didn't talk about her personal life much, but I can ask around and see if anyone knows anything. Why do you ask?
Okay, I'm not going to tell her why I'm asking, but I am going to tell you why I'm asking. Because in situations like this, the first suspect, the primary suspect, is always the partner. And especially considering how violent the crime is as well, certainly sounds like a crime of passion. Like, there was nothing methodical or calculated about it. Did Haley wear stilettos? Which is a word I'm not very good at spelling. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, I wasn't hanging around for that long then. Her name's Ingrid, right? Hi, Ingrid. Let's do this first.
Hey there, Detective Martini. How are you doing today? It's so great to see you again.
Did Haley wear stilettos?
I'm not sure, Detective Martini. Haley was a dancer, so she probably wore all kinds of shoes, including stilettos. Why do you ask?
She's sus. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, honestly, with the way she talks about her, she's either trying to cover up the fact that she was really pissed at her for something, or hero worship went a little too far, you know? But, you know, we don't know, we don't have enough evidence yet. Do you wear stilettos?
Oh, sometimes I wear them when I'm feeling fancy or going out for a night on the town. But they're not exactly practical for everyday wear, you know?
Were you out on the town the night Haley died?
No, actually, I wasn't out that night. I was at home practicing my dance routines for an upcoming audition. Why do you ask? Detective Martini?
Can anyone... no. Was anyone here with you while you were practicing? Being very careful about the way I
No,
phrase this
nobody
question.
else was with me. It's just me and my music when I'm dancing.
She's
But
got
why are you
no one
asking
to
me about
confirm her alibi.
Detective Martini? Is there something specific you're trying to find out?
No reason, Ingrid. Don't leave town.
Of course, Detective Martini.
She's a jilted lesbian lover. She could be. I'd be down with that. I'd be down with that. Okay, so we don't know if Haley had a lover. We know she had at least one friend. They don't know Haley. Hello. Do you know a dancer called Haley Greenwood?
I'm sorry, my friend, but I'm afraid I don't know who that is.
He's got a deeper voice than I was expecting. No worries, fella. Have a nice night.
Thank you, my friend, and the same to you.
I'm not your buddy, guy. Okay, so we've just been there. I suspect this is where the rich guy lives. But just in case. Hi! Do you know a girl called Haley Greenwood?
Haley Greenwood. No, I'm afraid I don't know her.
Yeah, that
Why
doesn't
do you
surprise
ask?
me. There is nothing behind me. We have Butler and Void. I presume he's a butler. Oh no, he's a Count. We have Count and we have Void. Count, Void. Count, Void. Void, Count. She looks like she's been crying. Hello. Do you know a girl named... I mean, if there's one way to get someone's name, like, thoroughly embedded in your memory, it's to type it out repeatedly. Haley Greenwood.
Oh, my name is not Haley Greenwood.
I know it's
How
not.
interesting. Do you need help finding something in the store?
No, Mrs. Potter. Just looking for folks who know Haley.
Oh, I'm afraid I don't know anyone by that name. But if you're looking for some fun, I know just the place to go. Count Grayson always has the most amusing stories to tell.
I'm sure he does. Bye. We're not gonna go and ask for Count Graveson's stories unless we need to. Looks like she was in a Wes Anderson film. A little bit, yeah. She'd got a very Wes Anderson palette in her outfit, hadn't she? Why does this look so much like I'm gonna get sacrificed? Hi, Dada. You don't look well. Are you okay?
Yeah, my dear Detective Martini. How kind of you to ask. I am but a humble protector of the Blackwoods, always here to serve and assist those in need. But tell me, how can I be of service to you today?
Oh, I think you're drunk. Have you been drinking?
Oh, my dear, I haven't been drinking. I prefer to keep my mind clear and open to the whispers of the wind and the secrets of the forest. Why do you ask?
'Cause you're ragdolling a bit, love. That's okay. Do you know a girl called Haley Greenwood?
Haley Greenwood. I'm afraid I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her, my dear. But I have heard that the trees whisper her name as they sway in the breeze. Perhaps she is a friend of the forest.
Oh, it's not booze, it's Special K.
Detective Martini.
Okay. No reason. Maybe you should have a lie down, Dada.
Thank you for your concern, my dear.
Bye-bye. I need to cough again. Sorry. Oof. Okay. I feel like I've really got my detective background going on quite well today. I've got the injury. I've got the 30-a-day voice. I've even got my detective's hat, but it doesn't fit over my headphones. See? Hang on a minute. Maybe if I wear my detective hat, people will take me seriously in this game. I'm just gonna have to balance it very carefully. Gotta stay sober for those whispers. Yep. Oh no, that's the morgue. Haven't been to the country club yet. Whoa! That's not a 1920s look. Nope, can't keep it on. I'm going to defeat the AI by saying their name before they ask me to, before they act like they don't know who I am. Hi, Michelle. Do you know a girl named Haley Greenwood?
Haley Greenwood. No, I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting her.
Okay, bye. Is Porthos wearing the paperboy cap? No, because he's walking about. He only wears the paperboy cap when he's sat down. Thank you, Halo. My snazzy hat is from a security company. Because of course it is. Okay. So... Oh, no, it wasn't this one. It was Coral. There's nobody else, is there? No. I'm hoping that when the full game is released, things will be a little less sparse as well. Because I know it keeps reminding me to use the right mouse button to look around, but when I do, there's nothing there. So it feels a little pointless to look around most of the time. Like, the only time I've actually needed to was when I was in the police station. So far. Hi, Ingrid. What's your last name?
Hey, I'm Ingrid. Oh, you can call me just Ingrid, Detective Martini?
That means Ingrid doesn't have a surname.
Formalities between friends, right?
We're not friends, lovey. The phone ringing in here is bothering me because I can't answer that either. Someone's answered it. Good. Hi, Chief. Oh, never mind. Hi, Chief. Have you talked to Haley's friend? That's not how you spell friend. Friend Ingrid.
No, I haven't spoken to Ingrid yet. Why do you ask? Do you think she knows something about Haley's murder?
She might do. Oh dear, I'm losing my voice. She might do. The two were supposedly very close.
Interesting. And where did you hear that they were close? Did you speak to Ingrid yourself?
I did.
Oh, really? And what did she say about Haley? Was there anything that could be useful for our investigation?
Haley was a very private person. And an exceptionally skilled dancer for her age.
Interesting. What kind of dance did she perform? And did she have any issues with anyone at the club?
I don't know, because you won't tell me where the club is.
That's strange. A dancer as talented as her should have had some acquaintances at the club.
Yeah, but I can't find
Maybe
the
there's
club.
something else going on. Did you try to talk to the owner of the club? He might be able to give us some insights into her life there.
He. Okay. So. We're looking for. There's nobody else here. There's nobody else here. There's... Oh, shit, hello! Hey, look, we found somewhere else where I needed to turn around. Biago. No. Biagio? Biagio, I think that is.
Well, if it isn't the cat's meow. What brings you to my neck of the woods?
If anybody was gonna own Le Chat Noir, it's gonna be someone that says, well, if it isn't the cat's meow, isn't it? Do you own Le Chat Noir? Oh, I've done a capital H again. I'm bad at this.
Why, bless your heart, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm an investor, not a proprietor. But if you're looking for a swell time, Le Chat Noir is the bee's knees.
Where is Le Chat Noir? Oh, I've done it. You know what? I'm going to leave it.
Oh, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. But if you can't find it, perhaps you're not cut out for the high life.
Rude. Hey, Panda, welcome in. Does look like he would say that. And bee's knees, yeah. He's just got that vibe about him. Like, it's not even given as an extra location. Hello. Do you own Le Chat Noir? So now we just go around and ask everybody if they own Le Chat Noir.
No, I do not own Le Chat Noir. Why do you ask, Detective Martini?
Oh, geez. Let's click out and see what that was. Hi, Mom. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well today. And thank you for being subscribed for 38 months.
For 38 months. Very naughty.
I need to cough again. That was good timing. I hope you're doing well today, Mum. And Panda as well, I hope you're doing well.
Get nice and moist for me, won't you?
Do you know who owns Le Chat Noir?
No, I'm afraid I don't. But why are you asking about it, Detective?
Don't matter if you don't know
You're
anything.
investigating.
Bye. Thank you for the hydrate, Mum. I did do it. Do you own Le Chat Noir?
I don't own it, my friend. I am it.
What?
Yes, that's right.
You're a cabaret club?
No, my friend. I'm the director of the circus, not a cabaret club.
Nobody else here either. Okay. ChatGPT now with top hat. It does feel a little bit like that, doesn't it? He looks like he wants to go to Underworld in Camden or Slimelight near Islington, Angel. He does, doesn't he? Okay. She doesn't have any legs. She has a skirt and shoes, but no legs. Oh god, I've just noticed that. That's gonna haunt me. She's a vampire. Hi.
Oh, hello there. What brings you to the cabin, Violet? Are you here for the show?
Are you a vampire?
A vampire? No, I'm not a vampire. Why do you ask?
Because you have no reflection.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm not sure about that, but I can assure you that I'm just a regular person. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
That's exactly what a vampire would say.
I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression, but I'm curious, why are you so interested in vampires? Do you believe in them?
Well, you are stood right in front of me.
Yes, that's true. But what does that have to do with being a vampire? Are you trying to say that all people who don't have reflections are vampires?
Yes.
Well, that's certainly an interesting belief. But as far as
Hello,
I know,
Adam.
there are
Welcome
many
in.
reasons why someone's
How are you
reflection
doing?
might not be visible. For example, the lighting in this room could be playing tricks on your eyes. Or maybe there's a technical issue with the mirror. Either way, it's not necessarily a sign that someone is a vampire. But tell me, what makes you think
But your
that all
clothes
people
are
without a
visible.
reflection are vampires?
Clothes are visible in the mirror.
Wow, that's interesting. Maybe it's because the mirror is reflecting off my clothes, not my body. Or
Yes.
Maybe it's just a trick of the light.
Because you're a
Either way,
vampire.
it's definitely not because I'm a vampire. Do you have any other questions? Well, that's
This
an
has gone so
interesting
off the
theory,
rails.
But I think there could be other explanations for why you can't see my reflection. Maybe it's just a trick of the light or something. Anyway, what else would you like to know about me?
If you say so. Vampirella.
Vampirella. That's a new one. Where did you get that name from?
Mostly it's that your voice actor sounds like she died in 1866. Bravo, Panda. Bravo. It's interesting how much she's going down this path with you. She's really committed to not admitting to being a vampire, which only makes me think that she's a vampire more. Okay, let's do the serious thing now. I am looking for Le Chat Noir.
Le Chat Noir. That's an interesting place. Why are you looking for it? Are you a fan of the arts?
I need to speak with the owner.
The owner of Le Chat Noir? You mean Monsieur Saxabar? What do you need to
Oh
speak with
my
him about?
god, it is the guy in the top hat. You have not started our relationship on the best footing, my friend.
I beg to differ, my dear detective. Our relationship has only just begun.
And you've ruined it. By lying.
Why, my dear detective, I assure you that I have not lied to you.
You said you don't own Le Chat Noir and that you don't know Haley Greenwood.
My apologies, my friend. It seems my memory is failing me.
It was like Kiefer Sutherland, a little bit. I will ask again. Do you, the owner of Le Chat Noir, know Haley Greenwood?
Yes.
There we go. Good lad.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're getting into roleplay a little bit, but I'm just roleplaying as myself and sassing him. Kiva Uncanny Valley Land. Yes. Bravo, Panda. Did Haley have any friends at Le Chat Noir? I can't be asked with the capitals.
No.
A dancer of her skill and personality. And you expect me to believe she had no friends at all?
Believe what you will, my friend. That is of no concern to me.
Did Haley have any enemies?
No.
You're being awfully declarative. Ugh, it's only done half of my typing. You're being awfully with your dancers
Well, that's because I know what I know.
trying to keep things quiet?
Not at all, my friend.
You-
I am simply telling you the truth as I see it.
You don't seem too upset about losing such an exceptional dancer. Why is that?
Because I have many exceptional performers in my circus, my friend.
Ah. So dancers are just a dime a dozen to you.
No.
Make up your mind, buddy. Sass is on fire today, and I shan't be stopped. Stooped. Stopped? Yes, but never stooped. And you do that, Panda. We are here for it. I missed the hat part and was about to go. Top hat with a fringe. Yeah, it's a nice top hat, to be fair. Okay. Did Haley cause any trouble? For you?
No.
Do you know if Haley had a boyfriend? No, we're not going to do that. A lover. There we go.
I have no idea.
Did you see Haley before she died?
No.
She was beaten to death outside your club and you didn't see her? At all?
No.
Not very talkative, this one. No, he's not. Where were you on the night Haley died?
That is none of your business, my friend.
Oh, I think you'll find it is, sweetheart.
And what makes you think that, Detective Martini?
Because I'm investigating her murder.
Well, then you should perhaps speak with Chief Gretzky or the police, my dear detective. They are the ones who have the authority to ask such questions.
This is how we're doing this, is it? Okay then. You want some police brutality? I am happy to send them your way. I can't remember his name. No. I'm gonna have to go back and check what his name is. I'm gonna type it in chat. Saxa Bar. There we go. Saxophone. Thank you, Torpor. Okay. Hi, Chief. I think you should bring Mr. Saxbar in for questioning. He's claiming he didn't see Haley on the night of the murder and refuses to provide an alibi or whereabouts.
Monsieur Saxabar, huh? What makes you think he's involved in this case, Detective Martini?
He owns the Chat Noir.
Ah, I see. And what do you think his motive would be for murdering a young dancer such as Haley Greenwood?
He doesn't care about his dancers. He's made that clear. All she'd need to do is defy him in some way. And he'd likely get rid of her. Just make things easier. Oh my god, and it's kicked me out to the map. Nom de plume nonce pancake. That's a good one, I like that. Okay. He's being an arse about it, so let's ask her. Hi, Ingrid.
Hey there. So great to see you again. What
Did
brings you back to Coral?
Haley ever complain about Saxobar, not saxophone, which is what I nearly typed.
I don't recall Haley ever mentioning anything negative about Monsieur Saxobar. She always seemed to enjoy his classes and respected him as a teacher. Why do you ask?
I'm not happy about divulging information to a civilian, but
Oh wow, that's really strange. I never would have guessed that about him. It's definitely worth looking into. Maybe there's more to the story than we realize. But let's not jump to conclusions just yet. We need to keep an open mind and continue investigating until we find the truth.
You're just standing here, lovey. You ain't investigating. I'm the one walking around, begging people for crumbs of information. More like probably did at least one war crime a bar. Indeed. Panda, you keep making me laugh like this, you're gonna kill me. Bravo. At least I'll go out laughing. Oh, that's the morgue. Hi, Chief.
Monsieur
Let's try it this way.
Saxabar, hey.
He will
What could
only
he
speak to you.
possibly have to say that he won't tell you? All right, I'll see what he wants.
Yes, there we go.
Don't expect me to go easy on him.
By all means. Show him the full force of the law. He's had me prating about for far too long tonight already.
Oh, really? That bad, huh? Well, I'll talk to him and see what I can get out of him. Just don't hold your breath, detective. These types can be very slippery. Alright, I'll go speak to him now. Before I do, is there anything specific you want me to ask him?
Where was he when Haley was killed? Was there anyone with him? And what did he know about Haley's relationships with people at Le Chat Noir?
Interesting questions. I'll make sure to ask him about those specifically. Anything else you want me to bring up while I'm at it?
Tell him to stop lying to the nice Detective Martini, or he won't be so nice anymore.
Well, I'll certainly let him know how disappointed you are with his lack of cooperation. But let's focus on what we can actually get out of him, shall we?
Okay.
I'll do my
He's
best
ruining
to get
all my
some
fun.
answers for you, detective.
Okay, so do I just leave now? Will that do the thing? Oh, bless you, Panda. No worries at all. Thank you for being here. It's been lovely to have you. Oh, this game is really screwing with my captions. There we go. What you need is a punch in the nads button. That is very true. The morgue lady gives me confused feelings. The morgue lady. She seems to be unnervingly tall, because we are looking up at her. And she is staring down at us. Intensely. If we get blood out of him, I'm sure we can get some blood and then we can bribe the vampire chick. Yes! Oh! You're most welcome, Panda. Seriously, it's been nice to laugh even if it has hurt a little bit. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.
Get nice and moist for me, won't you?
Thank you for the hydrate. I'm really intrigued by where this is going. That you can all see I'm having frustrations with it. I don't like being kicked back to the map if I'm not fast enough on my conversations. And I especially don't like the fact that I can be halfway through typing something out and it will kick me back to the map because I've taken too long, and then I have to type it all again. If she was a dominatrix in her spare time, I wouldn't be surprised.
You filthy animals.
But I'm intrigued as to where the story is going. One more week until I can menace people. Oh, how so, Amelia? Welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. Feels like you're fighting the interface as much as playing the game. I am a little bit, yeah. The TTS does give me the creeps, though. Yeah, that's fair. Pride Week for my hometown. I see. Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I'm wondering if, like, the interface issues, like I said, I'm wondering if they're going to get fixed when it gets into early access, because they've got like a month and a half before that happens. So we're seeing it in a very, very, very early state right now. And things like that should be fixable before the game comes out proper. And, you know, the more feedback they get, the more they can improve the game. I get the feeling they did design this with streaming in mind. Was that supposed to be didn't? Because I feel like it would be a really fun play off stream. Didn't. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's certainly not interacting well with my OBS or my captions. Which is a bit of a problem. Because I'm having to click out of the game to keep up with what's going on in chat and to make sure that my captions are catching up and everything. But I like the look of the game, and I like the premise. Some of the aesthetic, though, 10 out of 10. Yeah, definitely. I love the music. The music's really, really good. I think this is really promising. I don't think it's quite there yet. I wonder if he's still there. Okay, he's still here. So if I go back to the police station now... Did I get distracted? Yes. Are you going to Pride? No, I am not, because I sprained my ankle at the weekend and I cannot go to Pride as a result. However, on Sunday, the channel is hosting its annual Pride stream. And this year, as voted for by the members of the Discord community, we are doing a queer games showcase. Which I've actually added another game to in the last sort of 48 hours. Normally what we do is like an Animal Crossing Pride Parade, because I started streaming during the lockdown, during the pandemic, so nobody could go to Pride. So I made a Pride Parade on my island in Animal Crossing and had people come over to my island, and we marched around and talked about queer history for a couple of hours. It was nice, it was really fun. But this year we've decided we're going to do a queer games showcase, so we're going to be showcasing games that either have queer characters, queer protagonist characters mainly, or that have been made by queer devs. And I've tried to go for more of the indie stuff and less of the AAA stuff, because everybody knows about the fucking AAA stuff. We wanna give the indie devs some love, because that's what this channel is all about. It's about those hidden gems. Usually horror stuff, but not this time. Though there is some fantastic queer horror out there, and queerness and horror do often go hand in hand. The two things are very closely interlinked, and always have been. But I hope you have a wonderful time at your Pride Parade. I would like to go to a Pride Parade now I live in Scotland. I'm guessing Edinburgh Pride's probably going to be my closest. Oh. Twitch chat's just shat itself again, there we go. I was hoping to go to Pride in London, but my foot isn't going to let me. But the husband is going to marshalling. Oh, okay. Thought we were about the thirst. We are also about the thirst. But we do tend to thirst after characters in indie games. Hi, Chief. Take care, Panda. Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to the Queer Games Showcase. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm going to start it at the usual time, so 12 PM UK. But I'm just going to go right through until like 10ish, when I would normally finish my speedrun stream. So there'll be no speedrun stream on Sunday. Just lots of gayness. And would you have it any other way, really? Hi, Chief. How did your talk with Monsieur I've forgotten his name. I keep wanting to call him Mr. Saxophone, and that's not his name. Saxabar. Go. Ugh! It's kicked me out again. I hate this. Like, if it didn't kick me out, I wouldn't mind so much. Hi, Chief. How did your chat with Mr. No. There we go. I need to cough again.
Martini, I'm surprised you're interested in my conversations with Monsieur Saxabar. What makes you think we've spoken recently?
You said you would bring him in for questioning in relation to the murder of Haley. W, because I've forgotten her surname.
Yeah, I see. Well, I did speak with him briefly, but we didn't get into much detail. Why are you so curious about Saxabar's
Greenwood, that's...
involvement in the Haley Greenwood case? Detective.
Because he owns the location she was beaten to death outside of.
I understand your point, but owning a location where a crime occurred doesn't necessarily make someone a culprit. Do you have any other evidence or leads that point to Saxabar's
Oh my god.
involvement in the murder
We've
of
been
Haley?
through this already. He refused to state his whereabouts or give an alibi.
That is interesting. Did you try to press him for more information?
Yes.
Perhaps there's a reason why he was hesitant to provide an alibi.
Yes. He would only provide that to you. That's why I asked you to talk to him.
Well, that's quite intriguing.
Your memory is
Monsieur
bad.
Saxabar may have something to hide. I'll make sure to follow up with him and ask him for more details about his whereabouts at the time of the crime. In the meantime, have you found any other leads or evidence that may help us solve the case?
No.
Interesting. Have you looked into the backgrounds of the victims? Perhaps there's a common... Alright.
Oh, for goodness sake.
More about what you discovered? Any new information?
Right. So we can't work on one case at a time. We have to work on all 3 cases at the same time. No worries, Cypher. You take care. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for contributing towards the Romancylvania challenge. Much appreciated. Okay. Ugh. Sorry, I am so snuffly today. Okay. Hello. Please tell me about the 3 victims brought in.
Well, the 3 victims brought in were all very different cases. Nicola Grossman was killed by a hit on the back of the neck with a butcher's knife. Haley Greenwood was hit several times in the head with a blunt object, probably a stiletto shoe. Judging by the fragments found on the body.
Okay,
Maria
we know that one.
Jansen was killed brutally. It looks like she has been attacked by an animal. It's quite a puzzle, but I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it eventually.
Can you please elaborate on Maria Jansen? This seems like a classic case of escalation, just judging by what I've been told already.
The 3 victims brought in had very different ways of being murdered. Nicola Grossman was killed by a hit on the back of the neck with a butcher's knife. Haley Greenwood was hit several times in the head with a blunt object, probably a stiletto shoe. Judging by the fragments found on the body. Maria Jansen was killed brutally. It looks like she has been attacked by an animal.
Okay, you've not
Quite a
answered my
puzzle,
question,
but
though.
I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it eventually.
What sort of animal attacked Maria, do you think?
It's hard to say exactly which animal may have caused those kinds of wounds. I can tell you that based on the bite marks and fractures on her bones, it was likely a large predator of some kind. It's truly a tragic and gruesome case.
Are you sure Maria wasn't killed by a person?
While I can't rule out the possibility of human involvement, the wounds on her body suggest that an animal was involved. Of course, we can't jump to conclusions until we have more information. But as of now, all evidence points towards an animal attack.
Right, okay.
It's truly a sad and heartbreaking case.
Okay. Large predator of some kind. Okay. Which victim was brought in first? I suspect she's listed them in the order they came in.
Let me think. I believe that Maria Jansen was brought in
Oh,
first.
that's
Her case
interesting.
is quite shocking and difficult to process with all those animal bites and fractures. But we're doing everything we can to determine what happened and bring justice to her and her loved ones.
Okay. Which victim was brought in last?
I'm sorry, I don't quite remember. My memory isn't always perfect, but I can tell you that all of these cases are equally important and tragic. As a coroner, I see so much death and suffering, but that doesn't make any of these individual cases any less significant.
I never said it
Victim
did.
deserves justice and closure, and we're doing
But-
everything we can to provide that.
Like keeping accurate records of when the victims' bodies were brought in and the time at which you conducted your investigation. Just saying. Okay. So I can't get the information I want out of her. But if Maria was the first victim brought in, then that's my classic escalation theory out the window. So okay. A large predator. Do you think animal that attacked Maria could have been a dog or a wolf? Great. Did it again. You think that the animal that attacked Maria could have been a dog or a wolf?
It's possible, but the bite marks on Maria's body don't match those of a typical dog or wolf attack. The bite marks are deep and jagged, indicating a strong bite force and possibly a larger animal. It's also worth noting that the bone fracture on her forearm was likely caused by a human attacker.
Ah!
Animal.
More information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could
Detective. And feel free to ask any other questions you may have. By the way, Detective Martini, I must say that your dedication to your work is admirable.
Could the animal that attacked Maria have been something like a lion?
A lion? That's highly unlikely. Lions are not native to this region, and even if they were, their dental structure would be vastly different from what we see on the victim's body. While the cause of death was due to animal attack, I can't confirm that it was a wild animal. There is evidence of blunt force trauma on the victim's head, which suggests that a person may have been involved in the attack as well.
And now she tells me about the blunt force trauma. She kept that one quiet, didn't she? So my original theory still holds water then. Blunt force trauma on the victim's head. All three of them have been smacked in the head. First one, super messy, broken arm in the process. And then she wasn't quite dead. Hang on. She wasn't quite dead, but they chucked her in the water. Or they chucked her somewhere. Where was Maria's body found? Oh, for goodness sake. Where was Maria's body found?
Well, the body of Maria Jansen was found outside her apartment in central Vaudeville. She had multiple bite marks all over her body.
Okay, so she wasn't chucked in the water or anything like that.
Her forearm bones was fractured due to the strength of the bite. It's a tragic case, really.
Wait. She needs to make her mind up, because she said there one of her forearm bones was fractured due to the strength of the bite, but she also said that her forearm bone was fractured by a human. That's a bit of a plot hole. Okay. So she was struck on the head. Her arm was broken. And then something feasted on her. Something with serrated teeth. I can't even think of a creature with serrated teeth. Hello. I wonder if I could just call him Mr. Saxabar, because it's way faster to type out. Hello, Mr. Saxabar.
Yes.
Do you have any animals? It's only half typed it again. Do you have any animals at your circus?
Of course, my friend. We have the most spectacular animals in the world.
Really?
Lions, tigers, elephants, and so much more.
Please tell me more about your circus animals.
My circus animals are the best in the world.
I'm sure you think
That's
that.
all you need to know.
But what animals do you have?
We have lions, tigers, and many other exotic beasts.
What Other exotic beasts.
I'm afraid I cannot disclose that information to you, my friend. You'll have to come to the show tonight to see for yourself.
Perfect sales pitch. Bravo.
Thank you.
Hyena? Also, hi! Hey, Theo, welcome in, I hope you're doing well. No, coroner said it wasn't, wolf bite marks. Because I was like, it's gonna be a werewolf, isn't it? This guy's got werewolf written all over him. I hope you're doing well today, Theo. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was him. I feel like there's enough evidence already to suggest that it was probably him or someone trying to set him up. I'm fine, and you? I'm okay. Coughing a lot. But my ankle's getting better, so I'm quite happy about that. I'm a little bit sad because tonight is mine and Slow's 13th anniversary, but Slow is sick. And to try and avoid me getting sicker than I already am, we're basically occupying separate parts of the house, so I don't get to spend any time with him on our anniversary, which kind of sucks. But I appreciate that he's, you know, basically locked himself in his office to protect me from getting sick. Thoughtful, just kind of sucks. Okay. Hi, Chief. Did you find any evidence at the scene of Maria's murder?
What kind of evidence are you referring to specifically, Detective Martini?
Evidence of an animal.
Why would you think that there would be any animal involvement in Maria's murder? Detective Martini.
Coroner said she was likely killed by a large animal.
That's interesting. I was not aware that a large animal could have been involved in her death.
Did you not see the body?
That's what you heard from the coroner, Detective Martini?
Positive.
I see. Do you have any idea as to what type of animal it could be and where it could have come from?
Saxabars circus. That's not how you spell circus. Circus animals. As they are the only creatures in the area large enough to have done that kind of damage. Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, I think it doesn't like me typing more than a certain amount of information as well, which might be part of my problem. But it's like, do I just give him the information piecemeal? I think one of Saxabar's circus
And why
animals
do
may
you
have been
think
involved in
that,
Maria's
Detective
murder.
Martini? Do you have any evidence or just a hunch?
Coroner said a large predator was likely the cause of death.
A large predator, you say? That's interesting. And how do you connect that to Saxabar's circus animals?
He has many large predatory animals at his circus, such as lions and tigers.
I see. But how can we be certain that one of his animals was involved? Couldn't it have been any other wild animal in the city?
Coroner says the bite marks are too large to have been from a dog or a wolf.
That's quite intriguing. But how can we be sure that it was one of Saxabar's animals? Have you found any other clues that point to his involvement?
Okay. I know I'm kind of honing in on Saxabar, but he's literally the only one that just won't give me information. Refuses to speak to me, will only speak to the cops, and so far has a connection with the murders. Like, there's literally only 2 people who know who Haley Greenwood is, and he's one of them. And the other one has an alibi, not a very good alibi, but an alibi nonetheless. Ah, he's done it again. Hey, Gibraltar, welcome in. Hang on. I hope you're doing well today, Gibraltar. I am getting frustrated with this game kicking me back to the map when I feel like I'm making progress in a conversation. Like, if it didn't keep doing that, I'd probably be enjoying myself a lot more. I don't know if there's... I can accuse, but I can't do anything else. Okay. We'll go to the country club. Hi. Michelle. Did you know Maria?
Yes, I did. Why do you ask?
She was murdered.
Oh my god, really? That's terrible.
Hey, Tabby, welcome
Do you
on in.
know
I
who
hope you're
did
doing
it?
well. J'accuse. No. And apologies if it took me a while to say hello to you there. I saw the little shout out pop up on my OBS, but this game stops my chat from refreshing properly. Unfortunately. No, I'm investigating.
Wow, that's quite a mystery. What can I do to help you find out who did it?
Do you know if Maria had any enemies?
Enemies? I don't think so. Maria was a lovely person, always kind and friendly to everyone she met. I can't imagine anyone wanting to hurt her. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Have there... This isn't going well. There we go. Have there been any reports of wild animals in the area?
Wild animals? No, I haven't heard of any reports of that.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
We think an animal may have attacked Maria.
An animal attack? That's strange. I haven't heard of any such incidents happening in Vaudeville recently. But then again, I don't keep up with all the news. Have you found anything else that might suggest an animal was involved?
Okay. Shouldn't really ask this because it's not, it's kind of going with my theory instead of going with the facts, but I'm only like 60% offended at the delay. That response has literally just popped up. I don't know how long ago you actually sent that. I am kind of more frustrated with the game for fucking up my chat than I am with it kicking me back to the map while I'm questioning people. So, werewolf, that's what I'm thinking. We've already got a vampire, so maybe a werewolf in there too, just for funsies, you know? Do you know if Maria knew Saxabar? It's kicked me back to the menu again. I wonder if that's like an anti-cheat system.
That's an interesting question. Why are you asking about Saxabar and Maria?
Just curious.
Well, I'm not sure if they knew each other. But now that you mention it, I do remember seeing them together once at a party. It was a few months before Maria's death. They seemed to be having an intense conversation, but I didn't think much of it at the time.
Where was this party?
Oh, let me think. It was at the Greenwood Mansion.
Was it now?
Greenwood was hosting a charity event for the local animal shelter. I remember it being quite a lavish affair.
Really? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Finally, a helpful person.
I'm so glad I could help. Is there anything else you need from me?
Okay. So, not only were two of the victims definitely connected, but both of them have a connection with Saxabar, who is the only person we spoke to who has absolutely stonewalled us at every opportunity. This guy. Hello. Do you know Maria?
Well, my dear sir, the name Maria is quite common in these parts. Could you be more specific?
No, because I don't remember her surname. Maria J?
Ah, you're referring to the lovely and talented MS.
There we go.
Jansen, I presume? I have had the pleasure of meeting her a few times in social gatherings. A delightful woman, truly a rose among thorns. Why do you ask?
She's dead. He's not gonna like that.
Well, that's certainly unfortunate news, but as they say, every dog has its day. I hope the poor girl went out with a bang and not a whimper. It would be a shame for such a promising flower to wither away, unnoticed.
Can't even work out how a game could prevent the chat refreshing. The jank level is over 9,000. Yeah, it's really weird. It's also screwing up my captions. I'm guessing it's something to do with the way in which the conversations are generated. So this is an AI-driven whodunit game. All of the conversations that I'm having are... I'm basically doing Cluedo Cleverbot edition at this point. So I'm wondering if it's something to do with that. How do you solve a problem like Maria? Well, apparently you throw her to the wolves. Or other large predatory animal. Okay. Narrated by Microsoft Sam. A little bit, yeah. Like, some of the voices are really, really good. You can still tell that they're, you know, TTS, but some of them are very Microsoft Sammy. Okay. Hi, Dada.
Greetings, dear one.
Why are you
How
out
can I
here?
assist you today? The Blackwoods Forest is always in need of protection, and I am here to serve as its guardian.
Okay. Protection from what?
Yeah, my apologies for being unclear. The Blackwoods Forest is a place of great beauty and mystery, and it is my duty to ensure that it remains safe from any harm that may come
Yeah,
its way.
I agree, Tabby.
There are many dangers that lurk in the shadows, and it is my job to keep them at bay. But fear not, for I am more than capable of handling whatever comes my way.
I think having like the conversations that you have with suspects and stuff like that being AI generated is a really fantastic idea. And as I've pointed out a few times while we've been playing this, this is in super early access at the moment. Like, it's not officially coming out in early access until July 30th. More information on that if you type !promo into chat. Because there's like a whole spiel to go along with that. Like they're even adding VR support for this. It's not ready yet, but it's the next thing on the cards by the sounds. So it's a really neat idea, and I think using it for a murder mystery is a fantastic idea. But you can tell it's early access. It's not quite cooked yet, you know? I did have a lot of fun interrogating the lass with no reflection earlier, though. Trying to get her to admit that she's a vampire. She was very much against admitting to being a vampire, though. Which is a shame. Okay. Do you have to protect Vaudeville from large with 2 G's, animals? And it's done it again. Like, I'd be less offended if it didn't wait until I'd finished typing my question and just hit send, you know?
Oh, my dear, I don't have to protect Vaudeville from the animals in the forest. The animals are my friends, and they know not to harm the people of Vaudeville. In fact, they often come to me for guidance and advice. but I
Really?
must protect the forest itself, for it is a delicate ecosystem that must be preserved for future generations.
See, the other day I tried a roguelite VR FPS that's still very early access, and it was great fun despite some frustrating control problems and default textures on a bunch of stuff. It's a map screen bound to a key and used when typing questions. Can you rebind it? There doesn't appear to be any options to rebind. And it's nothing like that. What it is if it just kicks me back if I've been on a screen for too long and not actually asked the question. But sometimes it kicks me out while I'm typing the question if I take too long typing. It feels like it's not been particularly well optimized for streaming yet. So perhaps that's something that'll come later. It'd be easier if I was using my microphone, but I don't want to do that right now. Because it will pick up everything that I'm saying to you folks unless I'm constantly clicking and unclicking. What kinds of animals live in the forest? See? Did it again. Because I'm pressing enter, for the record.
The Blackwoods is home to a variety of creatures, from the smallest insects to the largest beasts. There are deer, foxes, rabbits,
Yeah, exactly,
and even the
Tabby.
occasional bear.
But it
But let's
doesn't
not forget
register
about the
key
birds.
presses
Oh,
inside
the
the text
birds.
box as
They
part
sing
of that
such
idle timer
beautiful
reset.
songs. But I must admit, sometimes I feel
Werewolf?
like the animals
Their-wolf.
understand me better than humans do.
You know what? I'm just going to ask Dada. Dada, are there werewolves in the forest?
Oh, my dear, werewolves. I'm afraid I cannot confirm nor deny their existence. But I can tell you that there are many mysterious and magical things that happen in these woods. It's a place
Everyone's
where
always
legends come to
asking
life
werewolf.
and
No one
stories
ever
are
asks,
born.
how are you, wolf?
But do not fear, for I am here to protect you from any harm that may come your way.
Uh-huh. Thanks, Dada.
Sure. You are most welcome, my dear. I am glad to be of service. Though I must admit, I do feel a bit insecure about my ability to help you. My mind can be a bit muddled at times, and I worry that I may not be able to provide you with all the answers you seek. But I will
That's
do
okay.
my best to guide you and keep you safe.
At least you've got an excuse for not providing answers. Okay. I don't know, everyone. I don't know. Like, we don't have access to... Hi. Do you know Maria?
No, Maria. I'm afraid I don't know her.
Okay.
But I do know that she's missing out on the finest oranges in Vaudeville if she hasn't been to Pascal's yet.
Good sales pitch. Do you know Nicola?
I'm sorry. I'm just feeling a bit down today. But you know what they say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Or in my case, make a delicious lemon tart.
Okay, I didn't ask you that, but I'm glad you can look on the bright side. I'm glad you're finding the positives.
Well, what's the point of being alive if we don't indulge in a little mischief every now and then?
What?
Maybe that's what we all need to do to feel alive again, don't you think?
Do you often indulge in mischief?
Oh, not as often as I'd like to, unfortunately. But sometimes a lady's gotta have a little fun, don't you agree?
I couldn't possibly comment.
Miss S, you know what they say. When the going gets tough, the tough go shopping. Maybe that's what's been missing all along.
Are you okay?
Of course, dear. Why wouldn't I be? Life is full of ups and downs, but we must always remember to keep our chins up and our spirits high. After all, it's not every day that we get to indulge in a little bit of mystery and intrigue. Is it now?
She related to Dr. Mrs. the Monarch with that voice, she might be. What mystery and intrigue are you indulging in?
Why, the mystery and intrigue that comes with being a woman of my stature, of course. There's always something exciting going on in Vaudeville, and it's up to us to uncover it. And if anyone tries to stand in our way, we'll just have to find a way around them, won't we?
She seems like a dependable and reliable person. And other words ending in ibble. Yeah. Sure?
You know, there's nothing quite like a good challenge to get the blood pumping. And if anyone thinks they can outsmart me, they've got another thing coming. After all, when it comes to mischief, nobody does it better than me.
Well then, Mrs. Potter. Who do you think murdered Maria J?
Who knows, really? But whoever it is, they better watch out. Because if they thought they could get away with it, they got another thing coming. And when they least expect it, I'll be there, ready to strike. After all, nothing is more satisfying than getting revenge on those who have wronged us. Don't you agree?
You shouldn't partake in vigilantism.
Vigilantism. Whatever do you mean? I'm just a simple woman, going about my business.
You just
If
threatened
someone
to...
steps on my toes, they'll soon find out just how dangerous a woman can be when she's pushed to the brink. And trust me, they won't be able to stop me.
Like Wibble, yes. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Like lemon pie, I guess. Yep. Okay then.
Angry. Me. Whatever gave you that impression, my dear. I'm just a sweet little housewife, after all. But let's just say that if anyone has crossed me, they're in for a world of trouble. And when I'm finished with them, they won't know what hit them. After all, there's nothing quite like a little bit of mischief to keep things interesting. Don't you?
Has anyone
Well,
crossed you?
Let's just say that there are always people out there trying to bring me down. But they'll soon learn that I'm not so easily defeated. And when they least expect it, I'll be there, ready to strike back with all the cunning and wit at my disposal. After all, a lady must always protect her interests, no matter what the cost.
Anyone crossed you recently?
Oh, there are always people trying to get in my way. But I won't let them. I'll charm them, deceive them, and ultimately
I think
come out
she's
on
been
top.
taking
When they
something.
realize that they've been outsmarted by a mere housewife, they'll have no choice but to bow down to me.
Plot twist, she killed them all. Do you know much about animal attacks?
Animal attacks. Whatever could you be referring to? I'm afraid I don't know much about such things. But if someone were to try to harm me or those I care about, they'd soon learn that I'm not so easily intimidated. And they better watch their backs, because I won't hesitate to strike back with all the force at my disposal. Le Chatin War. Of course, I've been there. It's a lovely little spot, full of all sorts of interesting characters. And if anyone tries to get in my way, they'll soon find out just how dangerous a woman can be when she's pushed too far. After all, nobody messes with me and gets away with it.
Why does she keep going back to that? I don't know whether her AI is broken or whether she's supposed to be acting this manic. Because this is... She puts the AI in. She does. I'm just going to leave you to your lemon tart. Have a nice... Sorry. That first one just came out of nowhere. Ah! Well, I was going to go back to the menu anyway. Thank you, Torpor. Okay, hello. Do you know Maria J?
Maria J. I'm afraid I don't recognize the name. Who is she?
Do you know Mr. Saxobar?
Mr. Saxobar. That's an interesting name. I can't say that I know him personally, but I'm always curious to meet new people. Why are you asking about him?
Do you get out much?
Oh, I get out quite a bit. I enjoy exploring the city and all it has to offer. What about you? Are you familiar with the sights and sounds of Vaudeville?
Have you ever been to the Chatmore?
Yeah, Le Chat Noir. I've been there a few times. It's a lovely place, full of vibrant energy and creative minds. Do you go there often?
Yes. Sadly, my favourite dancer has been killed. Oops.
I'm sorry to hear
Punch
that.
the microphone.
Who are you referring to specifically?
Haley. Oh yeah. Haley Greenwood.
I'm sorry to learn about your loss. May I ask how you knew Miss Greenwood? Did you two share a close relationship?
No.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss? Perhaps something a bit more lighthearted.
Did you know Haley Greenwood?
No, unfortunately, I never had the pleasure of meeting Haley. Why do you ask?
What use to me are you then?
Maria J. I'm not sure who that is. Can you give me more information about her?
She lived in Central Vaudeville.
Oh, I see. I'm not sure if I know her, but what can you tell me about her?
This is the vampire lady for anyone that wasn't here earlier. Tabby, thank you for contributing towards the Romancevania challenge. If you're wondering why I'm calling her the vampire lady, look at her reflection in the mirror behind her.
large animal. That's terrible. What kind of animal was it?
Exactly. Her clothes have a reflection, but the rest of her doesn't. Her legs have no reflection. Hence why I call her the vampire lady.
That sounds scary. I'm glad I haven't encountered anything like that. Do you have any more details about the attack? I'm feeling really great today. I'm excited to perform and get on stage. Speaking of which, have you ever been to one of my shows?
I'm sorry to say I haven't.
Well, maybe you should come and see one of my shows sometime. It's
What
quite an
do
experience.
you
Is there anything
perform?
in particular you'd like to see in my performance?
What do you perform?
Well, Detective Martini, as a burlesque dancer, I
Oh, she's a
perform various
burlesque
acts,
dancer.
including dance routines, striptease, and comedy sketches. It's all about being playful and teasing the audience while telling a story through my movements and costumes. Have you seen any burlesque performances before?
I have.
Detective Martini, you seem like an interesting person. Can
Burlesque
you tell me more about
is
yourself?
good fun.
What do you do in vaudeville?
I solve crimes. Sort of.
Wow, solving crimes. How exciting. Do you have any interesting cases you're working on right now?
No, she doesn't, Torpor. From previous conversations, she doesn't seem to. Yes, but I can't discuss them with you.
Of course, I understand. But, you know, I'm always curious about the world around me. Is there anything you can tell me about your work without giving away any sensitive information?
You ever been to Le Chat Noir?
Oh, Le Chat Noir. Yes, it's a lovely place. Why do you ask? Do you like going there?
Have you ever performed there? I'm gonna run with that one, Torpor, just in case. Like, she just
No,
didn't give me that
actually,
information.
I haven't performed there before.
Okay.
But it's always great to explore new venues and try out different stages. Do you think they would be interested in booking me for a show?
Ask her about the sun, foul and dead filth. Well, I hear they have an opening.
That's interesting to hear, Detective Martini. Thank you for letting me know. Do you think it's a good opportunity for me to perform there? And, if you don't mind me asking, how did you come across this information?
I'm not sure. I know there's an opening because one of their dancers is dead.
That's terrible news about the dancer. Do you have any leads on who might be responsible for what happened? It must be difficult for you to solve the case, but please do let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
Sure thing.
Hey, you know, I've been wondering something. Detective Martin.
Uh-oh.
What
Oh,
do you like
we
to
got a
do for
typo
fun
there.
Besides solving crimes? Do you have any hobbies or interests outside of your job?
Fun?
Yes, you know, like a hobby or something you enjoy doing in your free time. Yes, you heard me right. I'm just curious about who you are as a person,
I
beyond
don't
your
have free
profession.
time.
What make Well, it must be tough to have such a demanding job. But don't you ever feel the need to unwind and relax, even just a little bit? Maybe there's something you enjoy doing in your rare moments of free time.
Criminals never sleep, so neither do I.
I see, you're very dedicated to your job. But
Gibraltar, thank you for contributing towards the Romancylvania challenge.
You know, take a break once in a while and do something you enjoy. Maybe there's something you've been wanting to try out, but never found the time for.
I've always wanted to be a burlesque dancer.
Wow, really?
We're going off the rails
Burlesque
again,
dancer.
fuck it.
It's great to hear you have such an interest in the performing arts. What kind of burlesque performance do you think you would like to do?
Something with roller skates.
Roller skates. Interesting choice, Detective Martini. Have you ever tried roller skating before? It can be quite fun and exhilarating, especially with the right music in the background.
It sounds it.
Really, you seem quite excited about the idea of trying out burlesque performance on roller skates. Have you already taken the first steps towards pursuing this dream?
No. Because I'm busy catching criminals.
That's understandable, Detective Martini. Your work is very important. But have you ever thought about finding a way to balance
Good
your work
question.
with your personal interests? Maybe there's a way to make time for both.
I like how Torpor is desperately trying to get me back on track and trying to solve the case, and I'm just like, Detective Burlesque Dancer. Honestly, I think it would be really cool. You could get some, like, proper 80s vibes doing that. Bring the roller disco to the striptease, you know? Anyway. Wait, there's a case to solve? I forgot. Yeah, me too. I was busy talking to the vampire lady about roller skating, burlesque shows. I also like hunting vampires. She kicked me out. If the burlesque place was called Xanadu, sure. Yeah, fair. She kicked me out for talking about vampires again. That's fair. I'll accept that. What time are we at? I did say I was going to do 2 hours, no more, and we're nearly at 2.5 hours, so I might finish up there and go and make myself some soup. Because I don't know if you can tell by the sound of my voice, but I kind of feel like shit today. I don't feel like I really made any progress, but thank you, Tabby. Now the roller skates make sense. Yeah. I've clearly had fun with this because I'm still playing it 2 hours later. I have had my frustrations with it. But I think it's one to watch. I still really like the premise. I really like the art style. And the story seems pretty good. I think some of the AI could do with a bit of a tweak here and there. But for an early access game, I think it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I do really like the map music. It's very funky. Not included in the demo. Oh, we can't accuse anyone because it's not included in the demo. Dang it. I wonder if we could have even solved the case. If that's the case, because you can't accuse anyone. Oof. Yeah. There's some information about the game, as well as a link to the Steam page if you do want to follow it and see what's going on with it when it goes into early access officially. Let's go over to... Going over to the chat screen for a little bit. One, so that you can see Porthos, and so two, so that we can like have a little bit of a wind down after that. Yeah. I didn't hate it. I don't think it's the best demo I've played. But I'm definitely interested to play more, probably off stream, considering how much it has screwed with my OBS tonight. Yeah. And I think the fact that you can just talk to the characters, like you can use your microphone if you want to, I don't want to, is neat. Gibraltar, thank you for the treat for Chivitan, who doesn't appear on this screen for some weird and wonderful reason. I'll need to fix that at some point. They should do. They used to, in fact. They used to sit on top of where it says just chatting, they used to sit there. And thank you for the treat for me. It was very kind of you. It will be Fizzy Apple. Thank you. Yeah. I think they've got a ways to go yet, but it's a very unique idea. And the execution's not bad. Yeah. So, we've got a giveaway active on the stream. Take us through to ending. Oh. God, I am melting. I've got my fan on, but the temperature in this building has just, well, in the general area, has just skyrocketed over the last few hours. We got rain this morning and it was so good. Okay, so do have a giveaway active on the stream. It's for a copy of Boyfriend Dungeon, which honestly is a top game in my opinion. I love it, absolutely adore it. Exclamation mark ticket will get you 1 ticket to enter. Exclamation mark ticket space and then a number up to the value of 10 will get you that amount of tickets. 10 is the maximum you can purchase. I can see 2 folks have already bought tickets. If this is the first time you're hearing about this giveaway, there's the info on the prize. And here's a little countdown so that if you do want to enter, you still can. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And a little bit for the lag. The giveaway is closed. No, Rocket's not in the stream tonight, Torpor, by the looks of things. They normally say hello when they are, so. So, 2 entrants, total of 20 tickets purchased. Our winner is Torpor. Congratulations, you have won yourself a copy of Boyfriend Dungeon. I will send you the code in a little bit. Okay. I know exactly where we're going. But I need to do the cooldown spiel first. Now, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow night. It's either going to be some more Silent Hill 2 with DMAC, But I know Dee's had a lot of stuff going off this week, so he might need a breather. In which case, we'll be playing the demo for a spooky little point-and-click adventure game that, yet again, the devs have given me a code for. I'm just trying to clear out all the codes that devs have given me so that I don't forget about any of them and, like, get into trouble for not making good on my promise to showcase their games. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We're getting a lot of variety out of it. But yeah, that's why I'm doing it, because they all just sort of descended on me at the same time, and then I was like, shit, that's a lot of codes. I will do Torpor, don't worry. Right. So that will be 10 PM UK time tomorrow. Oh no, I didn't Torpor. That's the thing. I asked for them all over the space of like a month, and none of them got back to me, and I was like, oh, okay, I've not got any of them. And then all of them got back to me on the same day. One of them actually sent me a message and was like, we're really sorry it's taken us so long to get back to you. Just let us know when you're gonna play the game, yeah? But yeah, it's just one of those things. Happens. Anyway. I know exactly where we're going. Because Longfriend is live and doing a special marathon stream. So what he's doing is he's streaming in 8-hour blocks I believe every day. But for every donation or subscription over a certain amount, he is adding a certain amount of time onto his timer. So the more we donate, the more we subscribe, the more 8-hour blocks of streaming he has to do, basically. And it promises to be an entertaining time. And also Longfriend is a good bean to support. We like the Longfriend. So we're gonna go see him. If I can find him on my list. Which I absolutely can't, which is weird. Unless he's literally just gone offline. Ah, there he is. Found him. Okay. So I will see you folks tomorrow evening. Potentially. But, even if I don't, as always, until I do see you next, I want you to take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Wash your fucking hands! And have a great weekend, everyone, however you're spending it. Now, go say hi to the Longfriend for me. Cheers, Tabby. Take care. Bye, everyone.